What's going on, hockey fans? Dan K here to talk NCDC postseason scenarios. We tried to tape this thing like 3 times, getting this all together. Every chance we went after it. We had another game played in the NCDC, and things changed yet again. Lucas is going to be joining me in just a moment to break down some of the crazy scenarios, what the postseason could look like in just 2 weeks. And this weekend, we'll have a lot to say with the Northern Cyclones, the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs, the South Shore Kings, Boston Advantage, and Twin City Thunder battling in the north. The Hitmen Islanders, Mercer Chiefs, Rockets Hockey Club, Connecticut Junior Rangers, all battling in the south. Gary Monfrere from another mayor. I just okayed him to come into the chat. He might have to go to the USPHL page because, he's coming in. Hey, here he is. He's wearing a USPHL hat.
Well, you put your USPHL hat on this time. We're men of many hats, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on. You've got your Dan K Show hat on. I've got my USPHL hat on. But both hats, I think, kind of been diving in deep to this NCDC landscape the last, obviously throughout the season. But it's gotten very, very interesting down the stretch.
Very interesting. Let's start in the North Division. We look at this North Division in the NCDC. Right now, the standings as such. The Cyclones have played 48 games. They have 60 points. New Hampshire has played 49 games. They have 58 points. South Shore has played 48 games. They have 57 points. And then the Advantage, due to some league issue behind the scene there, they are going to be playing a play-in series against the 5-seeded Twin City Thunder. So it'll be Thunder versus Advantage to enter as the 4 seed in the playoffs. So that is already clinched. That we know. First, second, and third is where the questions still lie. Northern at 60 points are in the driver's seat to win the division and clinch the first seed throughout the Northern playoffs. How do they do that, Dan? Lucas, go ahead. Act it out. Say, how do they do that, Dan?
But, Dan, how do they do that?
Well, you know what they got to do, Lucas. They got to win one of their last 2 games. If they win either of their last 2 games in regulation or get any combination of points that equals 2, that's dose, they have clinched. They need to get to 62 points. That is the number for the Northern Cyclones to clinch the number 1 overall seed. If they do not get those points, who can catch them for number 1? Can the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs catch them, Lucas?
Do you want me to now ask you the question?
Go ahead and guess.
I'll tell you. If the Northern Cyclones get any combination of points in their last 2 games, the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs cannot catch them. But the South Shore Kings still could.
YouTube tag Super Mario watching right now.
So
Mario Paganini.
Super Mario. So the Monarchs only have 1 game left, so the maximum amount of points that they can get is 60. So if the Northern Cyclones get any combination of points in their last 2 games, they will edge out the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. However, there is still another team that's kind of in the mix, I think, Dan.
So the Monarchs, the big thing is this. If the Cyclones lose out, they would be at 60. The Monarchs can get 2 and get to 60. The Cyclones have won the regular season series. So the Cyclones own the tiebreaker against New Hampshire. So New Hampshire's best they can be at this point in the season is the 2. They can still fall beneath the 2 because the team behind them, the South Shore Kings, who you just watched win an overtime shootout, all kinds of things battle against this Monarch side, is close on their heels. 57 points for South Shore. Their final 2 games for South Shore right now, they will be playing the Boston Junior Bruins and the Twin City Thunder. The Thunder already know their fate. They should probably be resting up for that Boston Advantage playing game. They might not be playing everybody. The Junior Bruins, a younger team, already knowing they're out of the postseason for the first time in years, they might not bring their best to the ice. South Shore, Lucas, could win both.
South Shore could win both. And the Twin City Thunder do find themselves in a bit of an interesting situation because their last 2 games are against the Cyclones and the Kings. So they kind of have a weird ability to be a kingmaker or kind of a first place denier here if things kind of fall the right way. So for Twin City, a lot of questions to be answered, a lot of decisions to be made. The South Shore Kings, they They had a really, really good game against the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. That was a lot of fun to watch. Some absolutely filthy saves, some great-looking goals. The biggest thing for me was how quickly they can move the puck through the neutral zone. That's always my big thing to key in on. Dan, I know you're locked in on that as well,
Yep.
is how quickly a team can transition from defense to offense back and forth. I didn't think they gave up any really soft goals, right? There was one goal that kind of just went into the back of the net, but there was a lot of traffic in front. So I think for South Shore here, they find themselves in a tough position, certainly, but a position I think they're very qualified to be in here. They have a plus 11 goal differential, which is the second best in a North Division that doesn't feature very high goal differentials, right? Very close games, very tight matchups week in and week out. So I think for South Shore, you've got a good opportunity here to at least put yourselves on the map if you feel like you haven't done so already.
Let's play a game. What is the craziest scenario that could happen in the Northern Division of the NCDC? The Northern Cyclones, let's say they beat the Boston Junior Bruins. No, let's say they lose to IHC and they lose to Twin City in overtime. They get the 61 points. So they are at 61. The Kings beat the Junior Bruins and beat Twin City. They are at 61 points. Dan, how do we break that tie? Well, first, we would go to points head-to-head. South Shore, 6 against the Cyclones. Can you guess how many the Cyclones have against South Shore?
I would put money on 6.
6. So that does not break the tie. We would then go to regulation wins. In this scenario, the Cyclones have lost 1 in regulation and lost 1 in OT in their final 2 games to get to 61 points. South Shore has gotten 2 more regulation wins. That would put South Shore at 28 regular season wins. How many regular season wins would the Cyclones have?
Identical.
28. That would tie them again. We would go to our next tiebreaker, which is goal differential. Currently, it stands Cyclones at 13.
Yep.
South Shore at 11. Potentially, into some close games down the stretch here and 2 losses from the Cyclones, 2 South Shore wins, that could be a tie. We would then go to the penalty minutes, in which the score right now heavily favoring South Shore to win that one. They've got about a 200 penalty minute head start on Northern.
Yeah, I would say that as long as South Shore doesn't average 90 penalty minutes over their next 2 games, they should be fine for that tiebreaker. Because, Dan, for the folks at home, just so they know how far down the tiebreaker list, what is the tiebreaker that in theory comes after penalty minutes?
That is, it used to be a coin flip. I have offered my services to wear a 2-sided shirt and be bungee jumped from a bridge. And wherever I stop spinning like a roulette wheel, that's the team who gets it.
Probably easier to flip a coin, don't you think?
But it's a lot less pomp and circumstance.
We'll have a full pep band there as you launch yourself off a bridge.
100%. We are going to just blow the budget out of the water for the season just to get this done. But that's the North. So right now, New Hampshire, if you're a New Hampshire Junior Monarchs fan, it is looking more and more likely by the day that you might be sitting in that 3rd seed spot playing on the road against either South Shore or Northern, depending on how these last few games go. For South Shore, you got to win out. You want a chance at a number 1 seed, you got to win out. For Northern, 2 points. 2 points gets it done for you in any direction. If South Shore drops 2 points somewhere, if you get 2 points somewhere, you are the number 1 seed in the NCDC North. The Boston Advantage and Twin City Thunder will play a 1-game play-in series, a great pivot there by the league to make sure that the Advantage players get a chance to compete for a national championship. And I think they might be able to win a Dane Cup this year. I think they're that good in Boston. Coach Dan Zerlup's got the boys buzzing. Let's talk NCDC South now, Lucas, because you might look at the Hitmen with 72 points and say, it's all over. That's all she wrote. They've won the division already. No, they has not. This thing's still nowhere near over. The Hitmen on Friday play a team in need of a win, the Connecticut Junior Rangers. If the Hitmen can get 2 points, it's over. The Hitmen win. They are the President's Cup champions again, the President's Trophy winners again, the Founders Cup. They bring that back home for the 4th consecutive year that they win the Founders Cup. They've won it about a zillion times in program history. They would have 74 points. If they lose in overtime or a shootout, is 1 point enough, Lucas?
No, it is not.
No, it is not. There are still games to be played from PAL. The PAL Junior Islanders could get this done. Their infographics might have incorrect info on them a lot, but their team can win hockey games. They have 3 games left in hand to play for the PAL Junior Islanders, all 3 on the road against Wilkes-Barre. If they were to win, which also, by the way, I got into an argument via text with Brett Luthner, who was on the air calling a Jersey Hitmen game, about how to say Wilkes-Barre. He said it's Wilkes-Barre.
It's both. It's interchangeable.
I don't like that. Nope, it's one or the other. Make a decision. Get off the fence.
No, I mean, I've always said Wilkes-Barre, but I know that it can be pronounced Wilkes-Barre. What you cannot pronounce it is Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah,
You cannot.
it's not Wilkes-Barre, for sure.
You certainly cannot pronounce it Wilkes-Barre, but you can say Wilkes-Barre or Wilkes-Barre.
Well, wherever we're calling it, or whatever we're calling it, PAL, if they win out against them, they'll get the 73 points. Right now they're at 67. They're guaranteed second place going into the playoffs. So they are guaranteed 1 home series in the toughest place to play, because good luck getting out to the island. You got to take ferries, trains, planes, and automobiles to get out there. 67 points in the year for the Junior Islanders. If they get 6 points and they get the 73, if the Hitmen were to lose an OT and get the 73 and they tied, PAL has the regular season title against the Hitmen, which has never happened before, I don't believe, between these two in the NCDC. A huge year for the PAL Junior Islanders. They would win the tiebreaker. They would win the Founders Cup for the first time in program history, and they would host the playoffs throughout the Dineen Cup playoffs. As long as they're alive, they will host all the way through the championship. So that's big right there. That's a simple situation. Our final spot we go to look, 3, 4, and 5 in the NCDC South. The Mercer Chiefs, 49 games played, 54 points. The Rockets Hockey Club, 47 games played, 53 points. The Connecticut Junior Rangers, 48 games played, 53 points. Let's go to the paperwork here. So we look at this Mercer team. They will play Connecticut. That Connecticut game on Saturday, they may know their fate already if the Rockets Hockey Club have won and are leading in another game against Wilkes-Barre. Mercer needs to win, and they need some help. The ceiling for Mercer, Lucas, 56 points. With 53 points in 3 games to play, the Rockets the highest ceiling left with 59. Connecticut, the second highest ceiling left with 57. Connecticut, if they beat Mercer, knocks Mercer out.
Bit of a game.
Yeah.
Bit of a game we're going to have on our hands. And for Connecticut.
That's me counting. I say that because I'm counting the Rockets as getting some sort of points out of the Wilkes-Barre weekend. They just need a point.
Right. And it's a Wilkes-Barre team that is knocked out of the playoffs as well. So they're playing for scouts, right? They're playing for pride there. But what a final 2 games for the Connecticut Junior Rangers, right? And I don't know if there's a team mentality that's better equipped to handle that, right? You talk about the way the Connecticut Junior Rangers and Coach Jim Henkel really dive into that team, really dive into the mental side, the mental toughness. You've got to play not just 2 very difficult games at the end of your season, but 2 games potentially with the most value ascribed to them of any games you played so far this season.
Yeah, and with Connecticut, you're the only team left in this playoff race who's playing teams that are in the playoff race. Everybody else is playing teams out of it. Rockets are going to have games against the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights, who are a team that are kind of preparing for next season, right? They're trying to figure out what their squad looks like for next year. So you look at this Connecticut Junior Rangers team, you've got the biggest hill to climb. For Mercer, it kind of simplifies the mindset for you. Like, yes, are you the team that's you're the most ripe for the picking to be the one team knocked out? But you control your own destiny against Connecticut. If you beat Connecticut head-to-head in regulation, you've eliminated Connecticut from knocking you out. You've put yourself in the postseason. You win that game, Connecticut now can't reach you. They can only reach the Rockets. So you let Connecticut and the Rockets fight it out over the next couple days. For Mercer, a must-win game against Connecticut. Mathematics, they can technically make it if the Rockets get swept in a 3-game series by Wilkes-Barre. But I don't see the Rockets not coming out with at least 2 points from that weekend, especially with how much is on the line.
Yeah, and when you kind of think about that, especially considering it is a 3-game set, right? We're not talking about one game at the end of the season here. For Connecticut and Mercer, got to win, right? And I think it does simplify things in the South. And for a lot of these coaches, especially coaching at the high level of the NCDC, right? The high level of competitiveness, the high level of these players, right? And I think it does simplify things for them, and it allows them to just focus on the game, right? You're not worried about different scenarios. You're not worried about Dan K lurking in the shadows with a whiteboard and dry erase markers ready to do pool math on your back bench. But,
my notes.
I mean, he is lurking, always ready to do pool math. But I think it does simplify for the guys in the South. So I think the team to watch this weekend is going to be the Connecticut Junior Rangers. Those are the games to watch because that's going to be a Connecticut team that every single minute of those games are going to be fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah, and you tune in Friday for that Connecticut Junior Rangers team. They will be playing the Jersey Hitmen. Let's take a look at your games to watch this weekend in the NCDC. A lot of hockey to be watching. I'm going to be up late tonight watching a little bit of Thursday Night Lights with the Fresno Monsters taking on the Vegas Thunderbirds. 10:45 local time start for us.
It's
the West Coast.
So that's that West Coast start. You know, Dan, I'm hoping it doesn't go to that 3 overtime again because that is the boys will be sleepy, and we got a very busy couple of weeks here.
I was super sleepy last week after that overtime battle, but we look at this one. Friday, our first game, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, prime time there. Northern Cyclones taking on the Islanders Hockey Club. That one followed by a 1 p.m. Eastern primetime start, Ice Vault Arena there. The Connecticut Junior Rangers taking on the Jersey Hitmen. And then you'll head up to Lovell. You can check out the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs in a big game against the Boston Advantage. We're getting prepped for that play-in series. Oh, the greatest showing on earth is here. Jared Schoen is here. Go Wilkes-Barre Wagon. That's exactly right. Jared Schoen back in Wilkes-Barre, tearing it up there, looking to win a title in the USPHL. Rockets Hockey Club, Utica Junior Comets, they're playing at 2 p.m. Friday. A lot of games with a lot on the line. Pal Junior Islanders, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. Wilkes-Barre is going to have a lot to say about the end of this season, Lucas. Rockets are not playing Wilkes-Barre. Rockets are playing Utica. I lied to everybody on the air. Wilkes-Barre is playing against Pal. Pal needs to win 3 against them. Rockets play against Utica. They need 2 points. They need 2. They'd like 3. 4, it's great. 4, it's all over. They get 4, they're gone. They're in.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of games outside, a normal time slot, but also at the same time on the same time slot. So your best bet is to collect all of the different monitors from all over your house, right? Connect them all to your computer, and then just drag and drop like a quad box type scenario, and just watch all the games at once. That's probably what we'll be doing.
Lucas, I'm going to throw this out there right now. This is your project for next year.
Okay.
I want next season to set up on Hockey TV the Dank Zone. Dan K Show Red Zone.
Okay.
Quad box it. Let's quad box.
We probably, unfortunately, could do that pretty easily.
At Hockey TV, everyone reach out to Hockey TV now. Don't tell Hockey TV I don't want any rationalization of this. Just be like, why won't you do Dank Zone? I want everyone reaching
Why
out to
do
Hockey
you
TV.
refuse constantly?
Email them. Tweet them.
Don't do that.
Them. Every chance you get, I have unleashed the beast. Everybody reach out. Why not Dank Zone? Hashtag why not Dank Zone. Hashtag Dank Zone Hockey TV. Hashtag Flow
Please
Sports.
give them no additional context for what the Dank Zone is.
I don't want them to really know what's going on, because then when we come in and we negotiate this with them and tell them how to do it, I want them to be just kind of confused, like, what are we talking about? And then also keep them on their toes. The best way to negotiate is for the person you're negotiating with to not know what you're negotiating.
Like a smoke grenade. You just toss it into the middle of the room.
100%. That's it.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be amazing, probably.
I think it would. Danger zone. That's it. Ooh, the danger zone.
Yeah, some of the some of the folks coming in here. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. That would, I think, distract from the purpose. Although, really, what is the purpose?
Honestly, I made it through life this far without it.
That's fair. It's a fair point.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. The other thing to watch out for, that as soon as we finish up this Instagram live video, we're going to be making our picks behind the scenes. We got a couple of extra selections. Reminder for the folks at home, only one loss for myself last week. Only one missed pick last week. But Dan K right on my heels, so no pressure. And by that, I mean a lot of pressure. Can't make any mistakes.
Went 21-1 in his picks last week. Dan K, I'm embarrassed to say, 19-3.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
And
we're so far off, we have no clue what we're talking about.
No clue. And as everybody knows, those picks will reset for nationals, right? We're all aware of that. Very well-known fact that everybody's been on the same page for. So
that's
we'll
how
get it.
It's always worked. I don't like that you're trying to.
That's what I'm saying. It's how it's always worked. That's what I'm telling you, just so you know.
As the 5-time defending Nationals picks champion, still no swimming in the ocean. Sturge, I will go swim out here in the ocean of Florida anytime you want.
I don't think he's telling you about the Florida Ocean. I don't think that's the point.
Freezing 85 outside right now. I can barely stop shivering here. It's at a spring.
We should have just done it when we were out in San Diego.
I signed an autograph at a spring training baseball game. There you go.
Did you sign it in the ocean?
No, not in the ocean. Just at the game.
Oh, well, then you didn't go in the ocean.
Big Dan K vibes. What else we got? Anything else?
No, Britt, your input will not be taken into consideration.
No one's listening to you at all. There's not a world. The Boston Advantage will play a play-in game against the Twin City Thunder to lead into the postseason. So once this season comes to an end, they will announce that date, that time, that venue. They will play that play-in game. The winner of that game will serve as the 4 seed and play the top seed, either the Northern Cyclones or the South Shore Kings. New Hampshire cannot be the number 1. And remember, in the Dineen Cup playoffs, higher seed hosts. That goes for every round of the playoffs. That goes to the Dineen Cup finals. Higher seed hosts all 3 games of each 3-game set. So that number 1 seed that Pal and the Hitmen are battling for right now, Hitmen need 2 points to keep it. Either direction, either Pal drops 2 or the Hitmen get 2. That winning team, if they continue to advance, will host the Dineen Cup Championship. Will it be hosted at the Ice Vault Arena for the 3rd consecutive year? You'll have to tune in and watch to find out. Thank you to the Pueblo Bulls. Run with the Bulls, baby. Run with the Bulls. Pueblo Bulls, Dan K, Lucas Jones. Parting words, Lucas. Anything? Nothing? Looking forward to our mountain. I'll tell you this much. David versus Goliath is a thing.
Yep.
I don't know if it was ever acted out with potato characters, but
it's about to be.
It's about to be. Potato Zaddies, baby. We are working hard on a logo for the Potato Zaddy uniforms that we are, I think at this point, harassing the ownership of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings into creating.
Classify it as that.
And holding ourselves as hostage in kind of a negotiation to get us out to Idaho Falls, which we're going to go anyway. But if I can add in like a potato with a Dan K mustache and some short shorts with a high inseam cut and like a tank.
Mm-hmm.
Potatoes.
That's the vibe.
Playing some cornhole. Or bags, as people in the Midwest call it.
Bags.
Or bags. All right, well, you betcha, everybody. Enjoy your day, and, hey, sorry if we upset you with the accents, eh? See you later, Lucas. Cheese cup.